Yeah. We're back. Next Level Show. Everybody's in the building. MC, Aquil, Paul Frosty. What's good?
What's up? It's your man, that's Frosty over here on the Next Level Show. Glad to be here. What's up, world?
Man, what you been up to since the last time
It's been
was in the building?
It's been an interesting month. It's been an actual about a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. About a month.
You know, the pushing positivity in general, but just in specifics, you know, picking up new projects, communicating with and meeting new people who doing urban farming, who doing music, who are out there trying to do better for their community. I want to know them, so I'm out there just meeting them and greeting them and just figuring out what next steps to take for 2013.
Okay,
you know,
that's what's up.
and preparing some extra projects like the one that Quill's doing. You know, just generally keep them busy and trying to keep positive. You know.
All right, that's cool. I know this a bit off topic, but real quick, what did you mean when you said don't shoulder the a manipulator?
That's
something that
the Facebook status.
Yeah.
What did I say? I said
don't
shoulder. Well, I forgot what it was.
Yeah, you said. Then you said you don't have to impress or oppressor.
Don't shoulder the blame. Was it blame or something like that?
I think it was blame.
I know what you meant. I just want to get it right so I can answer the question right. But
for
the world out there, he's referring to a Facebook status I put up either earlier today or yesterday.
I think it was earlier today. All right, here it is. All right, it say, shoulder the blame for no manipulator. One does not have to impress an oppressor. That's what it said.
I said shoulder the blame for no manipulator. One does not have to impress an oppressor. It's basically like one of my big personal pet peeves is being blamed for anything that I didn't do. Like you know how some people will, if they can't prove that something isn't their fault, they will take the fault to alleviate the pain or the burden of arguing people down about it. But I never take that path. I'm not saying I'm not higher than anybody, but like for me, I never take that path. I will like fight. So I will like argue down 100 people who think that something is my fault till they realize how it's not. Like right. I'm stubborn as heck about that. Y'all heard me say a ship as in friendship, but right. But I wrote that up there just because a couple personal things been going on, and also some things just some things I don't feel like mentioning right now. You know how it goes. Where it has brought me to a bigger understanding of like to never do that as a make it a moral, and like a manipulator is somebody who they don't always know they're mishandling you. They just sometimes want something to be correct that they or to be in their favor, that they create a little ideal imagination and move forward with it. And then when I say you don't have to impress an oppressor, a person don't got to know they're oppressing you to be doing it, but you don't have to impress them, like appease them by saying yeah I was wrong or yeah this entire thing is my fault, because that usually comes with a bunch of baggage that's going to cause you a bigger problem. That momentary gratification you give yourself is going to cause.
I like how deep he got on that. It was two sentences.
Yeah,
it
came out of something deep. So I forgot.
Like that.
I wasn't even thinking about what I thought. I wasn't even thinking about what I thought when I wrote that. But when you mentioned it, it opened up a whole can of thought.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you.
So make sure y'all request Paul Frost. I don't know if he got 5,000 for you. Might not. Can people still request you?
Yeah, I only got like 3,000 or something. Facebook.com/sfrosty. I'm always down to chit chat with new people. I love talking to people about
Are you
stuff.
on Twitter also?
Yeah, I'm not on there as much, but at sfrosty215 on Twitter. You can hit me on there too.
All right.
Hello.
And let's put yours out real quick.
Twitter is at Aquil AQUIL 84, and same thing with Instagram, and on Facebook you can find me at Aquil Heru. That's AQUIL HERU.
All right, no doubt, man. All right, so now we can really get this thing cracking. We talking about hip hop today, man.
Yeah, okay.
And all aspects of it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you want to guide us into this thing, man?
All right, sure. I want to start with it was something I don't want to be wrong, but I think it was Aquil who mentioned it. What the acronym hip hop stands for?
Oh no, that wasn't me, but I do know what it stands for.
Okay, everybody listen real close while Aquil breaks down what HIP HOP hip hop.
No, you do it.
No, I remember. I want because I remember the idea, but the exact wording.
But KRS-One, he said it, man. It was oh man.
KRS-One said it.
Yeah. Higher inspirational power, heightening our.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So basically, what I was glad to be able to come on the show today and just do and be a part of really was to just discuss from us three here, our own personal, as people, our looks at what is hip hop what the history of hip hop is and what is the current state of hip hop and its role or supposed role in society. So I guess it comes to breaking down what is hip hop, and even that question by itself is like asking a person what is art sometimes. I mean, it's a genre, it's sellable, it's something a person can put themselves under, so it must have a definition, right? And how I see hip hop, I do see rap as something that is bigger than hip hop. I see hip hop as something that's bigger than popular hip hop music. So like, and it goes into what is rap, and like I think that rap is something that where it came from was out of United States cities on the East Coast. Most folks say the Bronx and New York and whatnot. And I think that what it stood for at the time was literally like without any kind of philosophy or any kind of social meaning, people was just talking. They was just rapping. They was on a corner talking that jive, talking and putting some rhymes into it, or just poetry. And I think that when hip hop came as a genre, I think that was a combination of that like late 70s funk kind of music and the cutting the records and whatnot.
Disco?
Yeah, disco, funk, that like that upcoming electronic, like either that George Clinton sound or like right before it or something like that, and that kind of mixed in with the rapping, and then like suddenly you have people who are just talking about stuff, whatever the context is, up, down, good, bad, fast, slow, and then people who wanted to hip and hop and dance and whatnot, like the song goes, and you put it together, and that became another connotation of the word hip hop. When you put together rap and funky hip hop music, it comes together to a whole new genre. But I think that as people see hip hop now, I mean, it depends on the person, it depends on the area, it depends on the because you got Waka Flocka, you got like Public Enemy, you got no downing on any of them at this given moment, but no downing on any of them. But the idea is that hip hop is so big. What is it? It's a musical genre. It's I want to say it's urban, but it's around the world now. It's in the suburbs now. It's everywhere. But it's like, what is hip hop? I believe that hip hop, the fact that it's so difficult to define what it is, makes it what it is. Like, hip hop could not exist without multiple other genres of music. Like, it took the cutting of other genres of music's records by people who were basically poor, had no other instruments, at block parties and whatever else to make hip hop. But at the same time, today's hip hop done by millionaires borrows from other genres of music. So it's like hip hop is like this metaphysical genre that needs every other genre most other genres to exist. So I think hip hop in itself is a meta genre because
it's very versatile. Yeah. It's a versatile.
Yeah. I think it's a metaphysical thing. It's like, I think it's bigger than. I don't even think it's a genre. I think it's a. I don't even know that word.
It's like an enigma.
Yeah, I mean it's mysterious. It's pliable though. It's usable. So it's something. Like I think that piece of it that we call something is just a piece of a bigger thing. Like it's the. I don't want to offend nobody, but I think it's like the Jesus to the God. It's like the piece you can look at and say that is the physical thing. That is the thing I can understand. Like, but it's still a piece to a bigger thing. You know, it's like I think hip hop is used like the word black is used. Depending on when you use it and how you use it, has a completely different meaning. Like like some folks say I hate rap, but I love hip hop. Some folks say rap is hip hop. Some say they're completely different.
That's a good point right there.
It's like even the word in itself belies some kind of a flowy, swaggy, like stereotypically American black kind of like, I'm hipping, I'm hopping, I'm dancing, or at least I'm hipping and hopping across beats or across ideas and words.
And what about the culture?
I mean, I think the culture of hip hop is. Man, that's a big one. Like
it's
like an onion because you got the core culture. Everybody will say it'll be like urban, American, black, inner cities, especially East Coast, and at the same time you got suburbanite Koreans outside of Seoul, Korea, being the world's top breakdancers, and then you got some of the world's top. I count reggae as both, like a derivative of hip hop, and at the same time reggae in general as being something that hip hop needed around to actually exist. So. You got in reggae, you got the world's top dance hall queen. I think within the last 5 years, one of them was Japanese. So it's so you come out of all, and then you got beatboxing. The world's top beatboxers sometimes come out of Germany and out of Korea. So it's like, I want to say it's black and local and it's urban, but I think that living in the world of comparison and not in the world of contrast is better. We don't got to narrow it down. We can say hip hop is urban, it is suburban. Hip hop is everything, but you hear a hot beat and it sounds like it's hip hoppy. They say it's hip hop. You hear an a cappella song with no beat, they say it's hip hoppy. So it can't be a beat thing and it can't be a word thing, but it can. I mean, I'm starting to sound crazy now, but folks I know like music,
it's
they
definitely
know what I'm talking about. Like,
it's definitely a multifaceted.
We should Google it real fast. You should Google hip hop and see what comes up. I'm dead up, like right now on the air.
What, the acronym?
Yeah, on Google the word hip hop, like in freedictionary.com or something. Like I want to see what the dictionary,
I got you.
which I don't always trust, says about hip hop. Like, dictionary got some issues, especially when you American and black.
Hey, Aquil, you want to touch on some of this so far? I mean, he definitely said a few mouthfuls of words right there, but
had a lot of sugar today.
It was insightful.
I like to keep it short and sweet, man. I would say I go off definitions that the people before me said. So it's like Africa Bambaataa and KRS said. You know, hip hop is peace, love, unity, having fun. It's the 5 elements. You got be breakdancing or b-boying, b-girling, MC and DJing, graph writing, and knowledge. And then on top of that, man, you got. I mean, it's a culture that people gravitate to. Why? Because it's something that you can do when you have little. It's almost like making something out of nothing. But are using the minimalist amount of things you can find or you have and converting into something that is enjoyable and good and for everybody to come together. Because I mean, hip hop started with DJ Kool Herc with the reggae. He had the reggae Jones. He had the reggae songs.
Selector.
Right. He had the big giant speakers and going to the parks and bringing people together, Africa Bambaataa, stopping gang wars and basically having people come together and just basically have fun and have parties instead of fighting and killing each other.
All right, and I found that definition on dictionary.
All right, here come the deep definition from the dictionary for hip hop. We got to hear this one.
All right, so the popular subculture of big city teenagers, which includes rap music, breakdancing, and graffiti art.
I mean, it's funny because I mean I'm a compare not a contrast person, so I will take that in a small bubble. But as we both understand, you can break that joint down 10 ways and say it ain't just that. I see where they got it from. You know, that's kind of like the stereotypical upper middle class white American way to look at hip hop. It's like of teenagers, like it's like they're childifying us basically. They're kidding us up. I'm not saying like I'm not going to take it as an insult though. I'm gonna say that is true because exactly that you can go out in the world, you can find that. Like right here on the 15th and Market, you're going to find a bunch of teenagers from the inner city with a popular culture that does that. But of course, you got your 45-year-old Jay-Z fans who always been hip hop fans. I'm not a teenager. I love hip hop. I'm 25. You know, like people aren't, but that's a limiting thing. That's why I got a problem with the dictionary. Mm-hmm. It's limiting. Off what Aquil just said though, that idea of hip hop starting off with it's minimalism, like using the least amount of things that you can find to create something big and beautiful. And hip hop started with the people who are us here, black in America, in the hoods and whatnot, who don't have much comparatively to the rest of the population, whose culture was created here by us. I don't like using terms like for us. I mean, this ain't a FUBU commercial. But like, I mean, I can't mention it on the radio. But like, it's basically, I think that the reason why hip hop, just like rock music before it, but much more exponentially, much bigger, much wider, much faster, because of the internet information age, has spread around the world, hip hop, to every culture, every country, everybody who considers themselves the underclass, at the least, is like, I'm hip hop. I think that it takes nothing physical to be hip hop. That's why I think it transcends reality. Mm. It's like, I just need to be able to. There are hip hop lectures that are done where a person is talking about real stuff and like he hip hop, like he ain't rapping, he ain't making a song, it's no beat. Then there's people who just spit poetry. Like I think it really is minimalism.
I definitely feel that insight that you had.
Yeah. What other genre has thrived so long and grew so fast over even not having beats or having a beat from a mouth or having
and it was fast too. Like if you think about it, what we talking about, late 70s, early 80s to now, and that's a little bit of time.
MTV went from we ain't playing that to we got to have that in like 10 years.
We got award shows dedicated
crazy.
To rap or hip hop. You know what I mean?
It's wild. It's so diverse. I mean, I don't feel like dropping no names and genre because I don't want to limit folks.
We got courses in Temple dedicated to hip hop. Oh, okay.
It's such a Ivy League colleges. You know what I mean? Knife Wonder does a class at he did a class at Duke. He's on a class at Harvard now.
Hip hop that made multi-millionaires.
Yeah, I'm billionaires. I mean, and then another thing, man, even 15 years ago, you would never see this many hip hop influenced video about commercials. As now, it's almost like McDonald's. It's commonplace. It's like they put like a hip hop beat, an old school beat, and you'd be like, why is that? Why is they playing a classic beat inside of this commercial? What does it have to do with it? They selling cars, they're selling food.
They know who they marketing to,
right? It's like it's so pervasive, man. But at the same time, it's definitely is caught on to the world because. I mean, I think it's honest at the end of the day. It's not anything that you have to be glamorous about. You don't need a lot of money. You need a certain, cultural reference. You just need honesty. One of the things.
And then it's different levels to it, if you will, because you got people like Kanye West, let's just say. Right. He would be considered the equivalent of like a pop star. You know what I mean? Like he'll reach those levels of the sophisticated, if you will, people. You know, they might have a Kanye West song in their drink. And then you got the street. Oh, you go all the way down to the street level where it'll just be like the people in the hood or whatever, they listen to it, they jam to it.
It's such a wide range. I think there's no other genre as far as I know in history or even that's even in existence right now that is as diverse as hip hop.
Look at Jay-Z with the whole from the joint with him and Alicia Keys.
I ain't even hear it yet. But
the New York song?
Yeah, the New York, and that's the Yankee. No, it ain't new. It's off the Blueprint 3.
Yeah, I'm late.
It's the what's that? The official Yankee.
I'm from New York. I'm thinking about something.
That's the official Yankee theme song or something. Like it replaced the Frank Sinatra joint.
It's because look in America, right? Look,
imagine
it's about dollar. Look, in America, it's dollars making profits, right? So, and it's also about popularity. And when you engage what the people think is popular, you make money, whether you like it or not. So you got like these, whether they like it or not, you got these rich, crusty, upper class people who run these companies.
Crusty.
Yeah, I got an issue with exploitative capitalism. I ain't gonna go into that right now.
But you got these called rich, crusty though,
but useful. They can pay me if they want to. These rich, crusty people who basically run the companies, and they go, man, it would be nice if it was golden age and it wasn't as hip hop and we just had regular rock music or whatever. But the people, especially our own kids, love this music, and if we play this at the ball game, they'll be like, wow, they're playing Jay-Z here. Everybody likes it. Black, white, suburbanite, not in college, on the corner, it don't matter, but everybody likes the song. You make money that way. I mean, it comes down to profit margins.
Right. I mean, and like you said, it's not really a color barrier because, I mean, you got Eminem. I think he's like one of the best lyricists that ever did it.
Definitely.
It's not a color barrier in the business because it's about dollars, but there definitely is, like, amongst some people and in the back of the minds of everybody, there's a color association with hip hop. Even though the majority of people in the world who like hip hop are not Black American. It's about 40 million Black Americans. You might be able to say 30 million like hip hop. Maybe let's just cut it down. It'd be like 25 million. It's about what? 2 billion people in the world who like hip hop, if not more than half of the world's population. That's a lot more than Black Americans, and we made it. So it's like, what does that say about hip hop right there?
And that's interesting too that you bring that up because they say like I hear that Elvis, like when Elvis came out and he kind of took rock and roll, like I'm not real familiar with the story, but basically like they saying that Black people kind of originated rock and roll.
It wasn't even kinda. It's like if you look back at musical history, like even on iTunes and pick a year, black, then suddenly it's like it's some whites in there, but the idea is like I don't like to put ownership on artwork, but there is a weird thing when you mention what originated something instead of somebody taking it as an objective fact, not like I'm trying to aggrandize myself or put you down, just a fact. This happened at this time,
right?
And they go, no, it didn't. They're racist.
Let me tell you. I'm gonna break it down real easy. There is no original American music form other than what we Black people have created. You don't have.
You took the step.
You don't have jazz. You don't have gospel. You don't have blues, R&B, ragtime. You don't have rock.
Look, saddest part about that, right, is like young urban hip hop loving and working Black man says this can't go on the news unless he'll be a militant racist. Now, if a white Harvard or even Asian Harvard professor said the same thing in a more analytical way, but the exact same thing, we have a new fact about music history now.
No, they know this.
Check this out. You know what I mean? That's I think having hip hop and societal issues go hand in hand, including racism and classism. They go hand in hand. The growth and the.
I got you. Yeah. But the point I was driving at though with that whole thing was how it was able to kind of switch, like you said, it was black, then somehow the line got blurry. Right. But with hip hop, even though it started black, the line hasn't got blurry because, like you said, it's still associated with a certain color. Right. So how do you think? Like, why do you think that is? Like, how come anything else that was originated was able to, get hijacked or whatever? But with hip hop, we still own it.
I feel like it's because the large majority, unlike other things that American Africans, or if you want to call them Moors or blacks, depending on your look at it, the things we create that have been taken, all things that have been taken, which is a large range of things, are things that anybody can relate to and do without feeling like they're actually joining us. Like tanning, you can tan, but you can go back to what you are. I think that hip hop, the large majority, I mean, like, it got to be at least, I don't know the numbers, but the common sense majority of hip hop is like rapping about things, either just talking about them, saying they're bad, or aggrandizing them, things that the people who are beyond that state of economy, of race or whatever, of the state of the average black person in America, they don't want to be that, but they want to jam along with that. So I think the customer base is much bigger than us, but the number of rappers who are black is because they either come out of those environments, or you won't believe it. Like, it's harder to believe these things come out of the mouth of a non-black person. We're a very biased country. Like, if an Indian guy was born in the hoods of West Philly, it had the exact same story as coming up as DMX. People wouldn't buy his music. They wouldn't believe him. Or he needs such a marketing plan that it would take more money to do that than to find a regular average dude from West Philly who black. Like,
I would even object to your point to so to speak, because Eminem is a great lyricist, right?
Right.
In my opinion, did you hear the joint with him and Royce?
Which one? The whole yeah.
Royce is neck and neck, if not a little bit.
Yeah. On that CD,
on that joint. And Voice is just like him, in my opinion. They make the same type of albums all over the place. It's kind of funny.
That's why they beefing. They was beefing.
But then they cool. But it's like, but people, this is another thing. I always put this point out there, and nobody's ever able to answer. I was like, you'll never hear anybody say Eminem is too lyrical.
That's crazy. That's true.
But, you got somebody like, well, not Royce, but somebody... Well, I just put myself out there. Like myself, you too lyrical. People not going to get it. Well, why can't Eminem be lyrical, but I can't be lyrical?
But you know what's...
I think something we got to get over, I don't mind saying this on the radio, is white supremacy is real. It is not a theory. It is not here because angry blacks keep talking about it. White supremacy, if people should look up this book, The ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Oh, man. Read about like everything.
Is that the guy who went back and bought
a woman? This is that's Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Oh, yeah.
That's that came before Columbus, but read that too.
Yeah.
But like something that like that actually bothers me is that when I'm around a lot of people who are hip hop or even just generally conscious or pro-black, they tend to be like racism this, racism that, but like kind of be this general vague, counteractive, also racist towards the racist. Whereas I look at stuff from a research point of view, white supremacy is real. Entertainment is propaganda. So it's like Eminem does not get to be openly critiqued about stuff like black folk do. Like if I made an album, if I got famous, made an album about beating my mom, raping my sister, and all the things he talked about, I'll be either laughed off the radio or just seen as, that's average Negro mentality. I'm talking
going off.
I'm talking in the voice of the, how folks actually talk about us. Like that's the average Negro stuff. Oh, you're angry? You hate your mother? Oh, you're a Negro.
All right, now I will say this though. Eminem doesn't get radio play on the same stations that other rap do though. And I do know a lot of black people who don't like Eminem.
True.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That is very true. I would say this though, Eminem gets crazy spins on Q102.
Yeah.
And those channels got more listeners
than the
Urban Ready. The Q102s, the 96.5s. Those channels, I don't know if I'm supposed to be shouting their names out, but those those alternative channels that don't play strictly hip hop, they play, pop music. So he's getting spins. Like
he's getting spins.
The guy Macklemore, you heard of him?
Oh my god.
He had the number one
Macklemore.
Oh, yeah. He had the
number
the number one selling record at one time in this year, and he had a top number one record. But listen, it was rap. It was never played on any hip hop stations. It's played on.
There's a book about this too. I forgot the name of it, but I remember the theory from it. Okay, so Macklemore, is he white?
Yeah,
never seen him before. Okay, so he has guests. All right, okay, on some serious.
And he was on.
Eminem.
Oh, what are you doing?
What?
On some serious white?
Huh?
On some serious
chips and pretzels. All right, look, Eminem. Okay, look. I'm going to preface this with my very clear point, so I don't seem like I'm going on any tangents. Eminem's white. Eminem's white. I'm saying it again.
Say it again.
Eminem is white.
Okay.
Now, look. So basically, what that means in this society is that the things he raps about are things that if the average normal black rapper rapped about, the masses of non-bigoted white youth who love quote-unquote black hip-hop music would buy it and love it. That would be a problem for the power structure. So they got to put somebody in place who can talk about certain things but look like and be more relatable to the wide range of their demographic, their largest demographic, which is white Americans. So what happens is...
Are we sure we ain't getting too conspiracy theory with it, though?
While I do
only because I got to ask you that because it's like...
No.
Eminem wasn't manufactured. Like, he came up in Detroit.
Right.
Dr. Dre, somehow he linked up with Dr. Dre, who put him on.
The rule of the industry is if you are what your music, or if you are what the topics of your music say you are, the rule of the industry is to exploit that. So everybody's manufactured. Everybody that you see who is at a certain level, whether they're doing good for society or not, even doing good for society rappers are manufactured to.
But look at when Eminem first came out. He was getting protested against. He was getting sued.
That's part of the game plan. Who wasn't getting protested or sued? He was also being supported. Like I heard some folks say, this is crazy, right? This is a mixed crowd of people, and they all agreed. Eminem is more like rock music than rap. I'm like, why? And no one had any factors or traits to back up that kind of statement. It's because he's white. If people just take away the bias in their heart and the ideal that this country is post-racial and just accept the facts that white supremacy is real. I'm not saying white people all think they're supremacists. I'm saying there's a structure here in this country, and that structure affects media.
Now, one thing I'll give you to your credit is that Rolling Stones they named him the king of rap.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm an Eminem fan. He might be
am too.
He might be the king. He's a great lyricist. I would say. But my thing is, the only reason why I can't give Rolling Stones that privilege to say that is because at the time he wasn't dropping music consistently like that. Like he was only dropping the album every once in a while. Well, he's still only dropping the album every once in a while. But it's like soon as that Recovery came out, he's the king of rap. So it was too quick. So I'll give you that one. I'll definitely give you that.
It's gonna sound weird. I'm always going above the one thing. I don't fault Rolling Stone. Their demographic is a wide range, not their whole demographic. Their main demographic. This is marketing. This is general business. A large main demographic for Rolling Stone is a certain group of middle class and right below middle class and white people. So they like Eminem is out. He's popular. He's got like humongous sales amongst that crowd of people. Not the biggest sales, but humongous sales. Jay-Z probably got bigger.
No, he's bigger than Jay-Z.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's just him and Pop. They the top two.
I was gonna give him a grace, but like now you see what I mean. Things are going towards my side. But like he has those sales. They want to impress their readers. They don't want to state facts. They want to impress their readers. We had the whole being white in Philly thing in the Philadelphia magazine recently. There's an uproar about that, for and against it, and neutral. But like Rolling Stone ain't their fault. Rolling Stone is playing the game of white supremacy, which is that you have like read the book for Frances Cress Welsing, The ISIS Papers. Here's how she explains what white supremacy is. Racism is the competition between ethnic groups to become the dominant ethnic group on earth via culture, education, look, including skin color and hair type. And she went further and said racism and white supremacy are the same thing because the only group that's perpetrating racism that has the tools to compete and disenfranchise others happens to be a slim group of powermonger white people. Not all, but a slim group. They also turn their own people out. As you can see with 99%, they don't care about their own people. Not whites don't care about the people. The particular people who happen to be white and control the media and Eminem and all this stuff, they'll sacrifice what they call white trash. They'll sacrifice.
And what's that lady's name again?
Oh, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, MD. She's a psychologist, a researcher, historian.
All right, we're going to have to take a break right there. We'll be right back, though. Let's get into Black Star. Yeah, we're back. That would be helpful, too, if you could do that. You know what I mean? Like, you would be the last guest that I ever would thought would come in here and have the worst mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, I done had gangsters, thugs.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
You know what I mean? I done had them all in
I'm going to use my kindergarten style replacement words.
None of them
like, fudge that, man. Man, it's a mother freaker.
You know what I mean? I done had the hardest core balls in here.
Get the friendship out of here.
I mean, all right, but we was talking about just now on the break. We still had a lot going on.
Right.
You was talking about culture.
Subgenrifying.
Yeah.
All right. So
go into that.
We were just basically having as we have our most heated things on the break. Our radio goes.
Right.
We ain't here burning crosses. You know what I'm saying, but like no. So we was talking about how people holding like congressional hearings or just meetings, town halls, and the constant magazine articles about how hip hop in general is so detrimental. Even when in the article they break it apart into different kinds of hip hop, they pose it. The promotion of the article, the promotion of the TV show about hip hop in general is just so damn bad, and it's aggrandizing crime. They don't go to the length to subgenreify like gangsta hip hop, street hip hop, crack rap, crunk rap, conscious hip hop. Now we know these genres.
You say crack rap?
Yeah, crack rap. Like we ain't that crack house. Welcome to that crack house. That's crack rap. Trap rap. I mean, that's in the South though. I consider the North side to be crack rap, but like because it's always about crack, not heroin.
No, I feel you.
But basically, I was saying like the same thing isn't done for rock because in the biased eyes of Americana, which is the American superculture, rock is seen as white and rap is seen as black. We know in reality that's not true, but ideals is what leads the country, not reality. It's marketing. So like in rock, you don't hear people saying this devil worshiping sounding desert song by Cradle.
Jeez.
By Cradle of Filth.
You ever heard some of these what they call them, like death metal?
Yeah, it was crazy. I love death metal. I'm a Slayer head. I'm a Korn head. I love Cradle of Filth. But the idea is, I understand that ain't the same thing as Linkin Park and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Not Linkin Park. I'm talking about that crazy stuff. Though.
I like the arbitrary rage, but like they will immediately if you attack rock in general, you'll get a person. The average person will come at you and be like, oh, but this came out then. This is 80s rap. This is glam rap. This is about glam. This is about rage and anger for losing your girlfriend. This is a happy song. But you go to hip hop, they go, man, hip hop and rap is so violent and so drug aggrandizing and so misogynistic. Then you give them one song like Lupe, that song that's like like a Lupe song, something that's not misogynistic, anti, or the very opposite, something that's not drug rap. They'll go, that's a fluke, as if like they know that the majority of hip hop is so damn vile, that's racist.
Or you know what, man? Well, I'll say it's commodified when it's easy to commodify. In short terms, like when they try to ostracize or block something out, the term now that's corny is conscious. Conscious is synonymous with corny. Like you soft, you weak,
right?
You like helping people.
You ain't hard or tough.
No, yeah, that's true. You hitting the head, you hitting the nail right there.
But I associate that fake street style. I associate that with Saul because you playing a role that you're not really. You doing that so you could possibly get on.
You was really a parole officer,
right?
Yeah.
Like I would
know. It's crazy how he's known to have really been a parole officer, and he has no real criminal record,
right.
And folks are still like, Ross be pushing that work. What are you talking about? You know he was a correctional officer. You know he was.
I don't call him.
I can't call
him that name because it's not his name.
Yeah,
I know.
There's an actual man.
You know what made me mad about him? Oh man, he actually don't even got the guts to admit that he took the man's name. He said that. I read on SOHH, this boy was like, yeah, how I got the name Rick Ross was my name used to be Big Boss.
Right.
But somebody couldn't pronounce it right and they called me Rick Ross. I didn't even know about the real Rick Ross.
The sad part is that we got to expect these lies.
Lie? But
yeah, we got to expect these lies.
How can he lie to me like that, though?
No, what kind of lie is that? We got to expect these lies, but we got to understand that, like, not only are there people out there who have been so dumbed down by the education system and media and the bad parenting doing in society that they believe that. But we know better. Like, I mean, we ain't no like godly conscious people. But at some level, for some reason, me, you, and him, different lives came together, and we know better, right? What are we gonna do about that? Is the question.
Right.
What is hip hop? What's it for in society? What are we gonna do about that? We know Rick Ross ain't no damn drug pushing gangster because he tells all his moves in songs. He would be arrested, right? But kids still believe it. They still want to be him. They do what he says he does, but they get arrested.
Yeah.
Like what?
Meanwhile, he on a yacht.
Yeah.
I mean, with the cigar.
He on a yacht that he say he bought with kilos, but he bought it with a contract from a record company.
Right.
Yeah. And we like the funny part is, it's like living in this. It's like psychosis. People know for a fact that he didn't get that money from selling drugs, but they wanted to believe in the aggrandized life so much they create a delusion in their own mind, and they go, I'm gonna go do that because even though he ain't doing it, he told me how to do it. Wait a minute, he not doing it and doesn't know how, but he told you how, so you're gonna do it and do it better than he did.
What is it about like crime and all that stuff that it seemed like that the urban youth, if you will, is so attracted to? Because and real quick before you answer that, like I think about how the mafia was, in their heyday, and they was running that liquor up and down the road.
Yeah.
And it seems like they want to be a part of that, and they always referencing Tony Montana and all that. It's like they want to have their own type of mafia. Like it seems like it's a attraction, a fatal attraction, if you will, to the mafia life.
I think it's things that we ignore in society. Like I'm gonna make a real short so Quill can drop on, because I'm gonna give you an example. All right, kid, no matter the reason, parents, school, whatever, kid comes up in a bad. This is common. This is really common. Kid comes up in a bad environment, call it the hood, call it the ghetto, call it just the psychological environment if they live in the burbs. Come up in a bad environment, so they learn hate early. Resentment for the parent, resentment for the school, the bad teacher, the bully, whatever. Very common. The kid wants to get back at society. Isn't always a conscious thing. The kid wants to get back at society, and what happens is through the media and marketing in the neighborhoods they're in, they're offered direct ways to do it. Robbing people. I feel good when other people suffer. And the kid is poor. So now they have justified their rage. Now I can't get no job at Mickey D's. It ain't gonna pay me. I can't even go to school, to high school, to college, because my grades weren't good enough, because my school was purposefully crappy. So I'm gonna go and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm gonna get this money from my mom or from myself and my baby, and I'm gonna go out and make society hurt because they don't give a damn about me. When's last? Do we say hi to people on the street anymore? You'd be surprised what saying hi to a person every day would do to their psychology. This is proven. Like, people, we're so disconnected that we think that people are preying on us. We're preying on them, creating monsters from the age of like 3 and up. Then they turn 17 and put a gun in our head and blow our brains out for a pair of sneakers that we told them was important to wear. Society is at fault, like the person is at fault. We had a similar conversation last time we was here, but like I think it's those two things. Poverty creates crime rates. This is a regular economic sociological study. And then rage inside of a youth creates a deranged adult. You put those together, you have a criminal. You have a deranged criminal who thinks it's okay to do and to aggrandize.
Would you add a lack of education?
Yeah,
or a lack of upbringing
school.
Or something?
Yeah, the crappy school, the upbringing, but all those things have factors and stuff we keep trying to ignore. Like we blame the parents. How did the parent get that way? Then we blame their parents. How did their parents get that way? Society. Wait, who makes up society? We do. It always goes back to us taking a part in that blame. What are we going to do to give the kids a better role to follow? Oh, these kids shouldn't rob. Give them a job.
Let me ask you a real important question. Like, you know how you talk about the white supremacy and everything. Now, I'm going to just ask you flat out. Ultimately, is there something that could be done about that? Or are people like us who talk about it and who try to make moves on it just wasting our times ultimately?
I feel like to the second question first, no. I think that a lot of people are heartfelt and not getting their results done and may look like they're wasting their time. But I feel like there's tons of people, and if anybody wants information on some of these movements, they can message me on Facebook or email me or whatever. But I think that the main thing we got to do, aside from reacting to bad stories about us, reacting to bad news, is we got to be proactive. Like black and poor folk, I say that differently because it's always like black poor folk. Black folk and poor folk, African Americans and the impoverished, need to do more for themselves and get off. Not everybody's on the teat of the government or the teat of society, but that also includes having the comfort of a secure job while 10 of your neighbors don't and thinking you're better than them. Like it's the idea that we don't support neighborhoodly, minority-owned, black-owned, or local businesses, but we want to complain about there not being crap in our neighborhoods. Like, I think that it gotta be just the same amount of reaction. We gotta match that with proaction. We gotta do more. We gotta teach these kids on the block, your own block, to not be a knucklehead. They outside fighting, don't just walk by and go, oh, I don't want to bother them, they're going to stab me. Talk to them.
No, they're going to pull their camera phone out and tape it and put it on YouTube.
They're going to put it on WorldStar. Like, they got a whole subculture of violence, a rape culture. This stuff is real.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean,
this is real.
No. Like, it's just crazy, like, how, you see all these fights, all these fights on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, WorldStar, too.
I don't go on WorldStar. I protest WorldStar. I will never go on WorldStar.
WorldStar is a demon machine. Yes. They feed off of people. They feed off the dark, anguished, negative sides of society.
I can't believe people.
They are a demon machine.
Go to that website.
It's crazy.
But you know what infuriates me more about WorldStar? I'm gonna answer that question too. Is that they put hip hop in it? Don't call it hip hop. Just call it perversion. So that's what it is.
Yeah. You know what that does in marketing? That impresses upon the minds of people abroad because of the internet and here that hip hop is synonymous with people beating their kids or fights or rape or World Star hip hop having that on there and being so damn big, they by default, it ain't World Star rock music, it ain't World Star jazz, which also jazz era included tons of drunks and rapes and murder. I mean, come on now, but like rock music, rock music. Let's be real.
Yeah, we ain't
like you can't. What's a mosh pit? A violent mechanism. A place to let out rage.
I wouldn't go to one.
Like, I love. I'm gonna say I love mosh pits. I know the purpose for them, but the idea is that that's still part of the rock culture. Like,
what happens in a mosh pit? You get beat up.
It's three kind of moshes. Well, three kinds that I usually partake in. You got the circle mosh, where you're just like dancing around together in a big circle. You have
like a line dance.
Well, no, it's folks just kind of like bouncing up and down and having a good time, not fighting. Then you have like a dance mosh where folks are just like literally rocking out, dance, having a good time. You got a fight mosh that can be a push fight mosh where folks just like I'm gonna see who can push the hardest, knock somebody down. I'm gonna dive 8 feet across with an elbow, and like people like that. I've been in all these moshes. When I was a young boy, when I was 17, 18, I used to stay at concerts.
Y'all just jamming and just knocking each other out.
Yeah, but the idea, like, it's better to do it there than like at a bar while that same song is playing on a juke machine with a beer bottle. So I mean, I get everything has a purpose, but that's real life, man. That's real. We gotta stop not accepting stuff. Like there is a rape culture. Hip hop culture is not just black, but is rooted in blackness, and it continues to be derivative of black things, which is fine. I'm not saying anybody should stop listening to it. I'm just saying where it came from. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. But but it comes out of a young black mouth like mine. He's a racist. He's saying, but no, when it comes out of like Anderson Cooper's mouth. If it comes out of his mouth, which it probably never will, it's a fact now. That white supremacy changes the minds of people to take the validation of white people who are in power and to downplay the opinions of black people who don't seem like they're in power, which is every black person, except for like Obama or Colin Powell or Tavis Smiley. Real black people, regular everyday people.
Well, what's the thing with Tavis Smiley? Like I know people they mess with Cordell West.
Cornel West.
Cornel West, my bad. And but they be like, I don't really know about that Tavis Smiley. Now I haven't seen the Tavis Smiley stuff that throws people off. Like anytime I've seen Tavis Smiley stuff, he's basically in sync with Cornel West. So or Dr. Cornel West.
Only because he's openly critical of Obama or President Obama. And
that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's not like he's jealous. It's not like he's angry. He's just critical of his policies and
as well as Cornel West.
Right, and I believe that's how it should be. Like he's in this position of power. Like you would be critical of any other president. You can't just hold back on because he's black. Like, you got to
But was you just now saying something bad about him?
No, I'm answer your first question about Tavis Smiley. Just like you, I keep hearing about things Tavis Smiley is doing that shouldn't be done, but it usually turns out. No, I'm the kind of person to normally knock the general black Southern sheep version of Christianity pushing kind of person who usually is just misleading people. Now I don't know that about Tavis Smiley, and usually I will look it up and know this already, so I can't knock him. But just like Aquil just said, it usually comes out of this thing where there's a new black norm in this country. There is a new black norm. It's Obamism and all the things that go with that. All things he says and does, whether he does them or not, people messianically, like a messiah, sheepishly follow him. Right. That's extreme racism, but pro-self, not anti-self. But it's actually detrimental to the black self because it's not doing anything for the black self or the country at large. 99% movement, for example, occupy everything. So like the thing about Obamism, which is probably going to be a new term soon. I don't hate Obama as a person. I don't know the man, but
probably already a term.
But what he is a symbol for is a false version of change that affects hip hop culture. My president is black, but his next line is straight back to capitalism. My Lambo blue. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you? Like, he didn't say anything positive about blacks coming together to fix their neighborhoods or being better off. I'm better off. And by the way, our president is black too. Like, what did that have to do with your Lambo? Like, I'm not knocking Jeezy. I'm knocking the idea that Jeezy is speaking a mentality that exists in this country.
Our president is mixed.
Which is by the way, while I'm chasing these hoes,
there still hasn't been a black woman who's actually birthday president of the United States of America.
Hey.
Let's just put that out there real quick.
That's a great point, man.
I mean, unless you count. Unless you count Lincoln, who's half Falasha. Falasha is a East African group of people who come here. They're called free blacks. They've never been enslaved. They're like Ethiopians. They're like the ethnic group Ethiopians. He's half Falasha.
I thought it was Malungian.
Obama's not the first black, huh?
I thought he was Malungian.
I thought it was half Falasha. Wait, Melungian?
Melungian, yeah.
American Morse?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, whoa, my bad.
That
Hold
was his
on.
mom?
We're gonna verify this. He's a half Elisha, half Melungian.
His father,
which is a Afro-black ethnic group.
Right. You never seen his father. Well, the rumor is he was Melungian, and you can even look this up. When he was running for president in the 1860s, they put posters of him as the Negro, the N-word president, because he was very like swarthy skinned.
But it was his father that was.
Yeah, his father was Melungian.
So my fact still remains that a black woman has still never.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Well,
if you count his grandma.
well, there's another one. If you count Eisenhower, Dwight Eisenhower, his mother was from Haiti. She was mixed. She was Creole, but she was black. His mother was Creole. Her name was Ida Stover.
So they way closer than Barack. Then.
Yeah, I mean, but you never hear about, and actually Harding.
A lot of people don't even know Barack's mom was white.
No. Yeah, it's wild. They know he's like they know he's a mixed president, or like there's a controversy about his race, but people don't read the research, so they just ignore it.
And it's so easy to just type it in.
Yeah, just ignore it. But I mean, it's nothing wrong with. I'm saying, for the folks out there, we don't got no problem with this. It's just like there's the idealism of what people think is or should be versus the realism they presently live in. This is an ongoing battle. Like,
but you got people who's going with everything this man say strictly because it's based on the fact that this boy is black.
And that's
so seeing as though he's not, I can't give it to him. It's one of them things how you said I ain't gonna let nobody tell me I'm wrong.
It's a shared social psychosis. It's basically it is Messiah complex. It is real. These cliche terms you hear tossed around in movies and books, they really exist in real life. We're so accustomed to movies and Facebook and things that are not direct that when we hear these terms applied to real life, we go right back into this is how they train us. We go back to its fiction mode. So even if your cousin gets like an actual psychosis or something like that, people relate to it in like an unrealistic way, which is a very big psychological epidemic problem in the black community. We don't take mental illness and social mental illness realistically, but we're taught not to. It's not an accident. It's white.
That's
supremacy.
true too.
Can I go back?
That's why you got
I'm gonna go back to a point you was talking about earlier. Well, what can we do? Like, is there anything we can do to change it? And I believe the first thing starts with knowledge of self, identity, culture. Mm-hmm. Like those things need to be defined and redefined, because it's like I don't think many people, especially our children, one of the reasons why they're so impressionable, other than being children, is that they don't know who they are. They don't have like a strong, organized community / culture that says, oh, this is how we practice spirituality. This is how we practice music. This is how we go to school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's so easy to get caught up in the media and the TV, and this is telling you how to sling drugs. When you come from the hood and you see people slinging drugs,
every studier.
You just you don't have any confidence in yourself, so you're looking at TV like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Every study of society will agree on the same thing. If you have a group of people that you consider different than you in your society and you control society, as do a select group of upper class whites do, that they're both economically on top, classism, and racially on top. So the idea is that when you have a group of people that you consider separate from you, and you teach your own people they're lower than you, you also have to take away the history, the language, the religions, the culture, the identity of these people. Even if the people hate you.
Do you believe in religion?
Do I believe in religion?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what do you mean?
Because I notice like whenever religion comes into play, you more so reference it as opposed to affiliate with any of it.
I want to use a really cliche. Let me just finish this real fast, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly.
Not to put you on blast.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Because like as many people know, and some don't. Like, I'm far from an atheist. Like, I look at Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism under the same way the ancients looked at it. I mean, ancients in Africa, especially North Africa and Kemetic areas, like what's now called Egypt, is like this: that everything in the entire universe in itself is what you can call a god. It's divine, it exists, but at the same time, every level of it, everything, every place, every person, everything in it is a god unto itself, because it goes back to one source. There isn't a single religion I've ever studied or heard of in my life that does not adhere somewhat to that rule. Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, atheism, because atheist God is the universe. They believe in something higher than them they can't control. They don't call it a God though. So like I believe in, like I believe in oneness basically. With some other West and North African based spiritual characteristics to that. It gives me my moral foundation. But I don't believe in the current state of religion, which is meant to divide people. Religion was invented so that different people could basically revere the same nature, the same universe in different places, in different languages, different cultures. Then it got perverted over and over again. The latest perversion was the Catholic Church's take on religion, which was, we're going to kill everybody who ain't us. They ain't the first. They ain't the first ones to do that, and neither are quote unquote whites. But that's the best example is what the division of people is never the right religion to me. You know, I'm never going to back anybody who supports slavery, murder, right, in the name of their God, of innocent people. Anytime you kill an innocent baby or person because they don't believe what you believe, you got to question what you believe in, or if you're believing it right. Like, I ain't saying that religions as they're written down are wrong. People practice them based on an ideal. I mean,
interpretation.
I don't know many Americans who are Christian. I mean, more Muslims than not. But I know many Americans who are Christian, Judaic, or Muslim who know what their religion actually says. They just know what the hearsay. Judge not lest ye be judged. Then you ask them for the lines above and below that in their book, and they can't tell you. I know. I am not a practicing Christian. I was raised one, but the idea is that offhand, I know more about these books and what they say and mean than the person who says they're in a religion. That's terrifying to me. We're in a world of Islamic versus Christian terrorism, ain't we? Like, but you don't know the religion of the other people or your own. That scares the hell out of me. Scares the hell out of me.
You right.
Psychopaths everywhere.
You want to take in any of that?
Oh no, he pretty much said everything that needs to be said.
Jesus said, "Kill you." Are you sure?
I'll just be.
Are you sure?
Saying the same thing.
Yeah. Muhammad said, "Blow myself up." Are you sure? Like, are you sure?
I think people take the easy way. I always tell people, man, go research. Like, don't just say something. Yeah. Like it's like. I'll say an artist. I'm gonna bring back the hip hop. I'm gonna say I'll say an artist is hot, or you know, the radio person will say, "Oh, this person's hot." So you, without even hearing the person, "Oh, they must be hot." Oh,
it's the sheep mentality.
Yeah, it's like you won't go listen to it and for yourself. You just be like, you just repeat and utter, and won't even do no kind of study, no research, no anything. I just say everything is out there that you need to. If you need to find and learn something, it's out there. It's easy. It's easy access. It's never been easier. Yep. Just go research it. I
also don't want to say that I don't want to fault anybody who doesn't have the mentality, the inner oomph, the chutzpah, or the motivation, whatever you want to call it, to actually go research. Because I know that this very racist, very downtrodden, very divisive, classist, ageist, misogynistic country makes people not want to research. Therefore, you might shout in a person's face all day, exactly what you need to know and need to know right here in this book, and they won't open it. It's not because they don't want to open it. Their entire psychology is made on purpose to be bent against research.
That's true.
They believe they can get it all from gleaning it from society or overhearing it. We're a skimmer society in more than just the internet way.
Yeah.
Like, people really would like to know stuff, and you got to get at them through music and videos and movies because they will not read. I need to read more. I read a lot compared to the average person. That don't make me better than them. It's just my lifestyle. But I could read more. And if a person who says they do read so they can read more, that means it's a problem. Reading used to be all you could do.
But it's not even reading. It's like research. Like it's like on-site research. You can go somewhere and find out, you know, is that there? What does it look like? What is it, you know? It's like, because you got a lot of these sources are not firsthand, but you have firsthand sources. Like, I can go to, people be like, oh, it's wild out West Philly. I'm in West Philly all the time.
I know, right?
It's the same thing in North Philly. It's the same thing in South Philly.
You can get robbed and shot in the middle of North. Then you go up there, you can stay there for 6 weeks straight, nothing happened. Then go downtown and get shot in the head by somebody. Like, what's the truth?
It's just like, you know, just go and experience things. Like, don't be so quick to just take something and run with it. Like, look it up.
It's good to be precautious and to take a person's advice as a possibility, but some folks just go, I know a whole lot about this place in the world or this particular culture or this subculture or this race because all these people agree on it. There's actually a structure in place that's used, the education doctrines that are made to make things look like popular ideas. So that people will take them and go, well, I don't got to research that. Most people think this word. Most people agree that this means that.
I seen it on the news.
Sheepish.
Right. like matter of fact, you know what's a perfect example of that? And I always ignore them when people act like I'm being snobby, but those top 10 lists and those top whatever lists of the year, I'd be like, I don't care what they say because I already know what their agenda is. They're going to promote the artists that are on certain labels that, you know, have a certain amount of spins or whatever. But that's not my top 10. Like, I'll tell you my top will be totally different. You know we are all guilty of this to some extent. Some more than less. It depends on the category. We're all guilty of this. So it isn't like this is a council of people on the radio talking down to nobody. We're all guilty of something of this nature at varying degrees. Like, people, especially my friends, they get on my nerves sometimes. Sorry, I get on their nerves sometimes because I say, I'm always doing this. Like, I'll say something, and then they'll come back with the response that is totally correct according to their logic, but the word that they think or the idea they think is absolute is not. And I'll be like, yo, before we continue,
Just look this up. And they think I'm trying to play them. I'm like, no, some real stuff though. Like I don't care if it's Wikipedia. Like what you just said, look that up because you think it means that and it don't. And you're sounding real biased right now, real prejudice. Like it's crazy. Like but
people don't like the truth though. You can't tell nobody the truth.
Yo, what did Grandpa in the Boondocks say?
You know what it's like, and this blew my mind. I don't know if it's true or not, but I read it. It was like when the indigenous people that were on the island currently known as DR, Dominican Republic, in Haiti, they saw the ships that Columbus came on. They couldn't fathom seeing what they saw. So in their minds, they didn't know.
It had to be gods.
Right. They had no idea. So it's like you saying things to people and they can't even fathom because society is so much dumbing people down and just, you know, playing like certain roles. So
that's what I say. People are not stupid. People are not dumb. Even the most pick the one kid in your neighborhood who's always doing bad stuff, who may seem low in school-based intelligence. He's still a human being with mad potential. People ain't dumb, but they're being conditioned into this category of relative stupidity so they can be used for consumerism.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're all victim to it, and because we're all in a shared society, we're also perpetrators and pushers of it. Every time we wear a brand shirt, I'm probably wearing something. I'm wearing an Adidas hoodie. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're all doing something wrong, but we're all different levels of victim in it. I'm doing my best to escape this cycle while still needing to be trapped in some of it to do better. Like, I gotta be able to relate. I gotta be able to relate to people, on the street. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm in the damn street. Like, I ain't just, Like,
wait, it's funny you just said it. All right, now this is my pet peeve when people be like, "Oh, well, I can't relate to the music that you do," and it's like, okay, I know you're saying that because you're conditioned to say that. Because I ain't saying nothing that I ain't never been through. You ain't never seen for you. Like I ain't talking about no spaceships landing. I ain't talking about no, gods coming out. I'm just talking about basic everyday stuff.
They can relate to Medea though.
Right, you can relate Societal. You can relate to. And this is something else that's crazy. True, now, I've seen multiple people.
It's my grandma.
I've seen multiple people get killed. Now, I wouldn't rap about it like that. I might put it in a certain way, but I'm pretty sure most people have not seen somebody just get offed. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the average person has not seen somebody get killed. So how can you relate to that? You might have heard about it. You ain't seen it.
Yeah, likewise. Like living in West Philly and whatnot. I mean, some people don't know this about me. I'm from the bottom of West Philly. That's where I grew up at. I live in West Philly now in a different area, but the idea is that I grew up in the hoods, multiple, including Southwest in the city, and seeing people die in front of me, shot to death, or come around to the scene after they've been shot or stabbed. Right. I worked in a hospital for a long time too in West Philly and saw mad people come in dying from hood stuff. Like, the general
blood squirting.
Yeah, people dying, and like I'm desensitized to a lot of stuff for that reason, but long story. But like it's like I'm not gonna go and be like, oh, that's life. Let me go join the Bloods now because it's always gonna be this way. I'm not knocking anybody for not having this take. My take was like, what can I do my own personal level to make that happen less or let that keep happening per se, but give people a different outlet while that's happening until it goes away. Not like, yo, man, thug life, forget everything. I'm gonna go sell weed now. I'm on these hoes right now. All right. I'm gonna kill everybody tomorrow.
We only got 19 minutes. We about to take a break in a minute, but real quick, I just want to get y'all insight on something because you brought up the Bloods, and it reminded me of this documentary that I had seen on the Bloods and the Crips. I seen a couple documentaries on them, but there's one in particular. They basically said that, I'm just paraphrasing, but they basically said that due to the racism that was around in the 60s,
50s forward,
and all that, it caused the generation of kids or young adults at the time. Like they was at first they was fighting against the white people. Right. That's when they started doing the looting and all that stuff. Right. But then they said it was so racist that after a while they just turned on each other, and that's how it became like that. Racism, but my thing is, I don't understand how, like if somebody's fighting against you, then you just keep fighting. How do it come to a point where you fighting against your own people? Like, how does that work? Because they were saying it like it's like a switch that triggers after a while. Like, oh well, I can't beat them, so click, I'm fighting you now.
Even about bastards of a nation.
Even the term
bastards of the party. Bastards of the party.
It was one of them because I seen a couple different ones.
Even the terminology that we're using in this conversation is much akin to modern day warfare. Like two forces fighting against each other in a war, right? The problem with white supremacy is that it's 99% clandestine. And clandestine means undercover 007 type stuff. It's not that soldier with a uniform on in front of you trying to kill you in the sense of being a black person. It's hard to see and point out because it was easy to point out it will be easy to destroy or get rid of. I don't mean the people. I mean the mentality, the ideology. So like the black people in the 50s and 60s who started these street gangs. To this day, by the way, to the folks out there, every street gang is not a criminal organization. Some of them actually still do the original street gang work of taking care of the neighborhood. The drugs came in. Division came through violence in the sense of like pitting blacks against each other. You divide and conquer. You divide and conquer. You're light, you're dark.
So was that statement not true then? It wasn't that racism was so bad that they basically...
No, I'm saying. I'm going into this is the product. This entire idea of divide and conquer. Racism is a system. It isn't a mindset. Racism is an institution. Is a system that has institutions built on it. But racism and white supremacy, as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, in this world and today and now are the same thing. The only group that can actually dominate and use racism, which is a competition between ethnic groups to become dominant, is a slim group of Caucasoid people who happen to be rich as hell. It ain't all whites. They are using us against each other.
All right, how about this? This is what I have trouble. This is the pill I have trouble swallowing.
Okay.
How is it that this small group of what you call Caucasoids?
Caucasoid. Yeah.
How is it that they could be so smart that they can understand all the mentalities, but nobody else can?
No,
like how is it that they could even?
They don't understand them. They created the mentalities and the groups.
How do they?
Who decides your ethnicity? Was it you? What's African American? What's Hispanic?
But I don't use African American.
But this is the thing, though. I mean, I don't think that they're that smart. It's just that it's like a avalanche. Once it's going downhill, it just keeps building and building.
But it seemed like it was so how people put it. It was just so.
The number one rule of white supremacy is to create mass confusion amongst ethnic groups, either intra-group, which means within the group, or intergroup, between groups. Mass confusion.
But how is it that they can do that, but the groups who are being victimized can't?
Well, school.
I'll look at it like
TV.
Yeah, well, that's the main things. Like one of the reasons why I do music is like, I see things in a very militaristic sense. So it's like propaganda. You're putting things out there. What reason are you putting things out there? The Romans, even though they did a lot of killing and murder, they had a great sense when they talked about in criminal justice. They always said for who benefits. Like, why are you putting this out there? Who benefits from it? That's likely to give you the reason why they're doing it. It's like I don't really give these people much power. I mean, they do have power, but it's also at the same time is that you're creating. It's like if I tell you every day that you ain't
I ain't nothing.
You ain't nothing, and where you came from is nothing. If you're anything like that thing, then you are even worse than the thing that we said you were.
And look, I'm broadcasting this around the world 24/7. And not only am I broadcasting this around the world 24/7 on TV, I'm broadcasting this in papers,
creating schools based on
radio,
businesses based on it,
industry. And look, this is not just here. This radio waves are being broadcast out into the solar system.
No, you're right about that.
If I'm telling you this 24/7, eventually you're going to have no idea, unless you create a safe haven, a sanctuary for yourself to combat that, eventually you're going to believe it. And I'm telling you this from the day you were born. I'm telling you that.
Every single time black people, or really, I don't want to say any other minority, because we're not minorities. That word doesn't mean legally what people think it means. But because black people we are alone in the minority group when it comes to treatment. Everyone is treated worse than white. We're treated way worse than everybody else who's treated. But I ain't going to go into that right now. If that ain't obvious to people, they live in the matrix. So like basically, like they compartmentalize us into groups. They go, dark. This from slavery times. I ain't talking about Willie Lynch. That letter wasn't real, but the things in it were real. People get stuck on, he didn't really write that. So those things didn't happen. That second part is a lie. Those things did happen. They separated us by light and dark. It's a mentality taught for generation upon generation upon generation. And what happens is, if you don't know who you are, and you're the child to massa, a grown man, a child to massa, you will teach your son to stay away from the light-skinned house nigga. You will do that. To this day.
But we had our own conflicts though, because we was being so tribalistic and fighting each other that we didn't see that we had this outside force that was fighting us. I mean, I look at things in the grand sense. Okay, most people don't know that most of the stuff that Europe has that they glamorize was built by Moors, or foundation was from the Moors, which came in 711 AD.
And the Moors, in this context, it would be a North African ethnic group that still exists now, but had a prime time from the year 700 to the year 1492. The average American, and people out there listening.
We gotta do this again.
As soon as the show is over, one last thing about the quote. As soon as y'all finish listening to this show, I want y'all to do a test out there. Y'all can inbox me about it at facebook.com/sfrosty and tell me your results. Go to the average stranger, anybody, race, whatever, any part of town, and ask them to name 2 historical facts of note, something that would be seemingly major, however you consider that, between the supposed death of Jesus, the year 35 AD, and the coming of Columbus, 1492. If you can get 5 people to name 2 facts each, quickly enough too, not taking a whole 15 minutes to think about it, you have found the abnormal American. They teach us to think that it went from white God, Jesus, to white Columbus coming, and that nothing important happened in between. That was the golden age of the medieval African.
Right.
And they got all their art. Not a large. I ain't gonna cut it too sharp. They got a lot of their art, a lot of their music from us.
Europe would not have any. Well, look up. It's a book by Ivan Van Sertima called "Golden Age of the Moor." Basically, talks about how almost every university in Europe, Western Europe, all the ones we talk about, Cambridge and all those, they basically got their info from the Moors who came civilized the Iberian Peninsula.
And this is
which is Spain,
pre-color code Europe. So Moors were all throughout the area, mixing, marrying, and also teaching people at the university. The top teachers were Moors.
Right.
It wasn't a racial thing until after Columbus.
And I say all that to say this: it's like we don't look at things. We looking at things in like the last 400 years. And of course, that's a long time because nobody lives 400 years. Well, nobody we know of. But if you look in the historical context, this has not been, this has not been our situation historically. This is like something that's very brief.
It's very new. It's like once you get into the lightest study on any one part of Africa, you don't even got to do the whole continent. The lightest study on, throw a dart at a map of Africa. I lie to you not. Throw a dart at it, then look at the history of the area going back only 1,000 years. Right. It'll change your whole view of who you are as a person, white or black.
As a matter of fact, there's a brother that does like lectures on this, but they just found a brother in North Carolina. His ancestry from his male side, they call it the Y chromosome, dates back 325,000 years. Yeah. Now, they saying the oldest human is not that old, like a human in our sense. But his ancestry dates back past 325 years, 325,000 years. Yeah. All right, so that's basically saying that his great, times 10 to the 10th power,
100 times back.
Was a regular person like us, was a man living.
By the way, that's about 1 million generations. 1 million generations of people.
But humanity is only supposed to be 200,000 years old. So that basically
modern anatomically correct Homo sapiens are supposed to be. Now look at the word. Look how we talk in this new speak messed up King's English. We use terms that are definite, but we say this is supposed to be. We don't even know what these words mean. A supposition. To suppose something is to make an assumption based upon realistic and possible evidence. Right. So every single time science, which is the thought or the word on something until the next thought comes, which is Western science. Eastern science don't work that way. Eastern science is based on observation, minute to minute, ongoing observation. Western science is everything we can find in this given study time period matches this data. This is that. All frogs live in water until you find a frog that can fly. Right. Oh, by the way, there's a new genus. You see what I mean? They just change.
That's why the nutrition facts is always changing. Yeah.
Like 1 minute you can eat chocolate, next minute chocolate's bad.
That's a lot of factors.
It's supposed to be this many milligrams of sodium.
What we're doing right now, this very session, this is the fifth. This is the unknown, mostly unknown fifth element of hip hop. We are talking about knowledge here, and knowledge isn't just us stating facts to each other. It's us proposing ideas and having a mature discourse about it. That's not know the ledge. Right. Look at the words we use. Like English is a mangled language. We got to really realize that.
He's going off again.
After King James, that affects hip hop because I'm gonna give you an example. Hip hop language is something in English grammar. All the grammatical people out there, listen up. It's something called a present subjunctive conjugation. Like in Spanish, if you want to say what you habitually do, like on Saturdays I normally run. You can say, I think it's yo está corriendo, I be running. Every Romance language, every post-Latin language that I've seen so far in Western Europe, except English, I think, and maybe German, but English does not do this. So when a black person says, or an urban person, I'll say that because it ain't just our culture anymore, it's urban. If they be like, yo, what you be doing? What you be doing on Thursday nights? I be at the jam session. That's perfect Middle English or early modern English. It's perfect. I, infinitive, be, present progressive, jamming. I be jam. It's not I jam because I jam is present like I am jamming
right now.
Like what's crazy is like people out there not versed in linguistics will find what I'm saying to be strange, may even doubt it because people hate research. But there are a bunch of language nerds out there who are nodding the hell out their heads right now. It changes your thought patterns when you change how you speak. It's called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Psychology. Afro dialects and people who are out of Africa and their cultures like us, we creolize and patois everything to fit back into figurative speaking.
Right.
Every single black culture that's post-slavery in the entire world has a way of saying "ya mean." Jamaica, seen.
Yeah, man.
West Africa,
Seen.
de, o, ne. Seen, ya mean, what it is. West Coast in a hyphy movement, yada I mean. Like, you can't go nowhere in the entire African diaspora post-slavery and see a single group that does not greet itself with a rhetorical question that shouldn't be answered. What's good?
All right, but let me break real quick and we'll be back, and then we're gonna be signing off.
All right.
Here we go with the Roots. Yeah. We're back. Next level show. We done took this thing all the way to genetics.
I ain't gonna go into that.
Yeah, we done took this thing to genetics. We're going to have to do a part 3.
Yeah. I was gonna say, how much time we got?
We got mere minutes. We got moments.
Yeah. So the great wraparound to the folks who tune in for the sake of hip hop, as you guys know, the visuals in hip hop mad important. You guys support graffiti art. You guys support. I want to call it that. You guys support urban visual art. Of course, it's the turntablism. There is the vocals, the actual MC, aka the poet, aka the voice. You have your dancing, your motion, your movement, and your motion. And that fifth element that most folks either don't know about or disregard is knowledge. So that's why people divide hip hop or rap, just rapping, just talking like Waka, from, I put them out there, from, let's say, who's the best example? Lupe. I want to say Common, but I like Lupe a lot more right now. So that's hip hop. It's all hip hop. It's all rap. But if you want to put it in connotation, rap is Waka and hip hop is Lupe.
And let me say too, come on out to honors class, Silk City tomorrow night, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. There's going to be a lot of dope MCs in the place. P features. I know Brosco, Mujahid, journalist, Philly legend right there. The Fox. So many more artists. Chris Vance, myself, and it's going to be Paul Frosty. And shout out to all the promoters, everybody that helped create the event, and shout out to Michael Cord, everybody at Hip Hop 101. Yeah. And I greatly appreciate you for having me on Starline Radio. Yeah. And I'm definitely looking forward to building with y'all in the future. So.
Yo, shout out Starline Radio in this last minute. Get yourselves on Twitter right now. What's your Twitter?
Mike Criminal.
MIC Criminal on Twitter, right? Put hashtag The Next Level Show, hashtag StarlineRadio.com. You have everybody listening to stuff like this. Support indie media. You hate the radio? I know you do. You hate the magazines? I know you do. Support people like this who are supporting the locals, who are supporting the regionals, who are supporting the underground. You got to do it. S Frosty 215 on Twitter. S Frosty on Facebook. Holla at me with whatever. I love to talk to new people and learn new things. We can debate. We can talk. We can whatever. Let's go. Love it. Love y'all.
Up. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and those who didn't but wanted to, and I'll catch y'all next week, you know what I mean, on the Next Level Show. Same place, same time.